Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Big Fish, and this movie is directed by Tim Burton and stars Ewan McGregor, and it's a movie about a guy who is just telling the story of his life, and he has cancer, and his son, he doesn't really have that great of a relationship with his son because he never spent a lot of time with him, and he always tells stories that are very exaggerative and to his son unbelievable and just very like fantasy like something like this can't happen in real life. And in our main character's eyes, that's what makes them interesting, but his son just doesn't like that because he's heard it like a billion times and he's just sick of it. And ultimately what this movie is to me is basically just Tim Burton's Forrest Gump in many ways, but sometimes it's told in a non-chronological order at times, and it has some like really fantasy-like elements to him. It's kind of like Forrest Gump meets Edward Scissorhands in ways, like when it gets with the more fantastical element of the movie, and that part was kind of unfitting and felt kind of weird and out of place. And I liked what it was going for at certain points, and I liked some of the characters, and I liked some of the storylines and some of the ideas in the movie, and that was about it. And like I said, this movie is just Forrest Gump, but with Tim Burton, his spin on it, and it's told out of order at a couple points. And that's pretty much what the movie is to me, and I couldn't stop thinking about Forrest Gump because there were so many similarities to that movie, and this movie was pretty slow to me, and it kind of felt as though not a whole lot mattered, and I was just patiently waiting for something to happen. And when something did, it would always just cut back to the story that's not being told, and this movie is kind of a story within a story, much like Grand Budapest Hotel, but a little less like story within a story within a story. It's just a story within a story, and it just stops right there. And it's kind of like from a few people's perspectives. One is from our main character, and another is from this woman that he met along his journey when he was younger, like 18 years old. And while I do like some of the ideas in the movie, and I don't necessarily hate the idea of telling this movie in a non-chronological order for the most part, at the same time, I failed to see the point in doing that. Maybe it was just a cover-up that it was just Forrest Gump, but the entire time I was also just thinking about what was I supposed to get out of this, because I didn't really care about the characters that much. I didn't feel as though there were stakes in the movie, and I didn't really care about the drama of the situation all that much. And our main character's son, like him not he doesn't know his father all that much, and he describes him as like an iceberg, like you only see 10% of the iceberg, whereas the 90% is underneath. And that's how I kind of feel about you, and that's one of the lines in the movie. And there was nothing poorly handled about any of those scenes. It's just that on an emotional level, I just wasn't all that connected, unfortunately. And while I do like some ideas as to where the story can go, and I like some of the fantastical elements of the movie, it still doesn't really feel as though it needs to be there, and it just felt like, oh, this could have been in any movie, really. I did think the movie got a bit better as it went along. I think the second half is a little bit better than the first half. The first half was really boring and pretty cheesy at points, but as the movie went along, things started to feel a bit more natural, and I was more invested in the movie. And that's kind of what made up for the rest of the movie, kind of. I do feel as though this movie didn't need to be 2 hours long. You could have trimmed out 15-20 minutes out of it, and it might have made it a bit better for me. And one last thing about the fantastical elements and why they don't really work for me. Not every point, but in some of them, it kind of feels like it's straight out of a horror movie. And I was just questioning, what movie am I watching? It just felt so out of place to me, and that's really what damaged my experience. And thankfully, most of that is in the first half, and the second half, everything moves along a lot more smoothly for me. But that first half is just kind of a mess for me. And that's about all I have to say about Big Fish. It was okay, and it's a movie that did not really engage me or affect me emotionally in pretty much any way. But at the same time, it wasn't terrible. I didn't regret watching the entire thing. I'm glad to say that I finished it, and there were things that I liked about it, but it's just a movie that I wished was much better than it was. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Big Fish a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Big Fish, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Due Date. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.